Hey guys, this is Connor with Diet Talk Waterloo. Today I want to talk about locking out in the deadlift, and this applies as much, if not more, to the squat. People probably have used this a little bit more with the squat. But you see it all the time with the deadlift, and because the lower back can potentially be loaded so heavily with the deadlift, you might want to pay attention to it. So people essentially commit the same errors with the deadlift lockout that they commit all day long with their standing posture, which is to say that most people are going to get stuck in an anterior tilted pelvic position, which means too much arch in the low back. The tailbone is kind of stuck backwards a little bit, pointing backwards a little bit, and that forces me to use my hamstrings a lot, my spinal erectors just on either side of the spine, rather than the stronger muscles like my lats and my glutes and my actual abdominal wall. It's harder to use in that position as well. So obviously this is an important thing to focus on. And if you do your deadlifts properly, even if you're only deadlifting 10 pounds, they can really contribute to having good posture throughout the day and having no soreness and having reduced stiffness and all these other things. But if you're doing them improperly, they're just going to feed into that tight hamstring, tight low back, achy everything, bad SI joints, all that stuff. So when you're deadlifting, I've got my max weight on the bar there to make it realistic. So when you're deadlifting, make sure you set up with a neutral spine to start, so it's okay to arch your low back a little bit to start, so that I'm at least flat, maybe I'm arched a bit, but I don't want to be curled over, of course. But when I finish my reps, what a lot of people will do is they'll finish by arching harder. So if I just get to the top of my rep, I don't ever extend my hips the whole way, I just arch my low back harder. So I come up and arch harder. This feels like a lockout, if you don't know what a lockout is supposed to feel like. And to people that don't know what they're looking at, this looks like a complete rep. But all I'm doing is actually just using my low back muscles to get the bar in this position. Horrible idea over the long term. They're really not meant for that. So if instead I go from this arched position to a neutral pelvis, pushing my pelvis into the bar and finish it there, that is a lockout. My glutes are fully engaged, pressing forward, neutral pelvic position. My low back doesn't have to do too much here. So coming from all the way down, in the bottom position, get set up, I lift to the top, and when I get all the way extended up through my hips, then I finish the lift by pushing my hips into the bar. So I think about my hips pushing forward into the bar. My hips, not my low back. If you find that you're just curling your low back to try to finish that out, you probably have too much weight on the bar, and you're probably not strong enough to handle that weight in that situation. So you could overload it by using a lower weight and just focusing on holding that lockout position at the end of each rep for a little bit longer. That'd be a good way to do it. You can do American deadlifts, which are essentially just the top half of a deadlift range of motion, just repeated over and over, and really focus on driving those hips into the bar for your lockout. Use those glutes, and don't overuse your low back, obviously.